The hard truth is that if you have little influence in the life of your child, meaning you can't ask them to do hard but healthy things, you can't increase their responsibilities at home or point out areas for growth without it turning into an explosion, then you're probably doing it wrong. If you want the easy button to creating connection, you've got to do this one thing that I've literally coached thousands of families to do. I watch this habit in the life of families who learn to deepen their relationships. And here's the crazy part. You only need to create this habit once. Are you ready? Let's get into it. For those new to the podcast, I'm Dr. Larry Mitnaul, double board certified child and adolescent psychiatrist by day, dad of 7 by night, and definitely super early in the morning, and as well as a content creator with over 100,000 followers whose sole interest here really is to help you connect with your family in the age of screens. Today, we're talking about something that's quietly happening in millions of homes. Parents are unintentionally giving away their influence in their kids' lives, and they're handing it over to the screens. It's not because we don't care. It's because we don't always see how it's happening. So let's look at 3 subtle habits that can shift our influence from us to the digital world and what we can do about it instead. According to a 2023 Common Sense Media report, kids ages 8 to 12 spend about 5.5 hours a day on screens, while teens over that age spend about 8 hours. That's more than a full-time job's worth of influence by the time the week is over. And here's the kicker. The content they're consuming isn't neutral. Whether it's TikTok, YouTube, or games, everything they watch is shaped by algorithms designed to keep them scrolling, not to help them grow. So imagine your child's mind as a garden. Every time you speak, teach, or connect, you're planting seeds. But if screens are always on, it's like opening the garden gate and letting random strangers come on in and plant whatever they want. Some might bring flowers, but many are planting weeds. When we aren't attentive, we allow the online world to cultivate their values, beliefs, and the desires in our kids' hearts that don't align with what we're trying to build at home. Going one step further beyond underestimating the influence that screens have on the minds of our kids, the second most common error is that we often direct our kids to screens for answers instead of walking through the question with them. Now, don't get me wrong. Google can be a fantastic tool. But when a child asks, "Why do people bully?" or "What's love?" and we just say, "Look it up," we're outsourcing the heart of parenting, and that's helping kids think deeply and wisely. If you're like me, maybe you don't have a great answer yet for some of the big questions in their life, but that's actually okay. We parents are allowed to model humility and search for an understanding that we can then bring to them, rather than completely surrendering our judgment to the machine. And here's what's wild. A Pew Research study found that more than 80% of teens use YouTube as their go-to for learning before they ask a parent or a teacher. So instead of developing problem-solving skills or turning to a trusted adult, many kids are learning to rely on quick answers from people they've never met, who don't know them, love them, or have their best interest in mind. We don't want to raise kids who know how to search more than they know how to reason. Speaking of reasons, the reason you should consider our show sponsor, Be Well Collective Apparel, is that they do align with your values while creating comfortable clothing that you'll enjoy. Check out the Try Again apparel line, which features my catchphrase that reminds us parents to assume the best of our kids by inviting them to practice this style of conversation. Check them out in the link in the show notes and the description to support the movement. Now, back to me. The third error we commonly commit is that we overuse screen time as a reward. You've probably said it before. I know I have. If you finish your chores, you can play the iPad. If you're good at the store, you get screen time, right? On the surface, it sounds like a smart parenting hack. But here's the unintended message. Screens are the prize. They're better than family time, better than reading, better than play. Over time, this turns screen time into the gold medal, and everything else becomes the boring stuff you have to do to get there. When we do that, we reposition human connection as the ultimate reward, not just a digital escape. Look, screens aren't evil. They're part of our world, and they're not going anywhere. But if we're not intentional, they'll take over our role in our kids' lives. We must be attentive. Speaking of improved attention, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Bark. If you're looking for a way to safely and securely monitor your child's presence on their phone, as well as get practical advice on parenting in the tech age, check out my discount code for Bark. They offer an amazing app and even have devices preloaded that both look like the typical modern phone, but equipped with the most up-to-date monitoring software I've ever come across. Recently, I attended a talk on sexploitation of our kids, and the presenter, a leading expert in the space, said that among the many options, this was the brand he trusted the most. As you know, Bark is the only phone my family has trusted as our kids have climbed the heights of independence. Check them out in the show notes or the description below. Now let's get back to the show. All right, friends, I think you're ready. Here's the one reframe that you need, and here's the challenge to make the reframe even more practical. Stop replacing yourself. We often overcomplicate what it means to do a digital detox for ourselves and our kids, but I find it more helpful to begin reinserting ourselves into family life rather than just slashing all the devices in the house. So here's your challenge and ways to do that. Stay engaged in what your kids are watching. Number 2, use questions as doorways to connections, not as reasons to outsource. And number 3, make screens a tool, not the trophy. Remember that garden analogy? Your voice, your wisdom, and your time are the most powerful seeds you can plant. Let's not let screens become the default gardener. Thanks for tuning in. If this message resonated with you, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe, and share it with another parent who might need this reminder. Let's keep growing together. Don't forget to send me your questions and be among the first to know when the book is released this fall. There's no connection like your connection. I want to shout out also my favorite producer and eldest son who goes by the moniker Slip Shuffle. And as always, be well.